The natural state of the human mind is to treat everything as belonging to two opposite poles on a spectrum of thought: light and dark, fire and water, earth and air. Even when the opposites are not in any way actually opposed, this function of the human mind to categorize everything as the thing and its other has created no ending impact of suffering on people's lives and hindered progress in many academic pursuits. Even with the list I just gave, most of my listeners here probably just heard it quickly without contention, and yet also intuitively understood that these things, like fire and water, don't actually belong on a spectrum of opposites. In fact, they are each unique things unto themselves within their own places. This is in no small thanks to the scientific method and institutions of compulsory education, but think on how humanity has reached this point where such scientific knowledge can be described as intuitive. Hundreds of years of proto-sciences like alchemy and great thinkers like Aristotle forming categories and taxonomies based heavily on just personal observation and dialogue between their friends. Such preceded what we call science. Radical cultural shifts on the practical engagements with epistemology in the forms of the scientific method, schools of thought like phenomenology, and institutions like the branches of Buddhism created honest looks at the natural functioning of the human mind, its limits, and how we can supplement or change the functioning to forge actual knowledge. However, that function to treat all things as the thing and its other has allowed us to proceed with these radical shifts in history, but keep the original method of thought in a separate category. Often without our noticing, the thing and its other type thinking creeps back in and prevents us from building bridges where it is easier to keep things separate. I have decided to begin building my own philosophical system, which I call Consubstantialism. Consubstantialism is, more so than an established assertion on the state of reality, it is a method of taking formally established schools of thought, exploring the reasons for each honestly and charitably, giving the same treatment to those schools of thought frequently considered as polar opposites, and challenging the very concept that the two are actually in conflict. Just as fire and water are not opposites, but shown to be their own physical entities and processes in a wider web of matter and energy, Consubstantialism seeks to find where groups of thought actually apply in their own space, without arbitrarily connecting them where polar opposites and spectrums aren't necessary. While my father took the brunt of teaching me how to drive, my mother gave me a single piece of advice that drastically characterized all of my behavior on the road. Hinting from the heavy braking my brother adopted when I rode with him to school, I would also wait until the last moments before braking at stop signs and stop lights. This habit changed as soon as my mother's first ride with me as the driver. My mother has always been a very calm and collected person, and I had never seen her experience more anxiety than when I went to stop at the first intersection after leaving our neighborhood. Mom made me pull over to the side of the road and told me, "We are not the kind of people that race toward stoplights. Brake earlier." I didn't even realize that that was a kind of person, and for years I believed this advice to be isolated to driving behaviors. But seeing how people quickly drew lines in the sand and retreated from ideas that didn't already fall into their own camp proved to me that it is far wider than that. The thing and its other type thinking is like a stretch of road with a stoplight on either end. People turn onto this road and race toward those intersections, slam on the brakes, and stop. But from the side of the road, we can see both stoplights, all the people in between, and the point where the two tail ends of traffic meet in the middle. So I'm glad my mother made me pull over in the middle of this road. Through consubstantialism, our rational thought can prevent us from being the kind of people that race towards stoplights. So I hope you will join me in the future as I infrequently release videos on this topic while I try to develop this original philosophical system. If you found this short little video interesting, by all means share with your friends, like the video, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell for more. I release a philosophical evaluation of a game or anime at least once a week on Saturday. This is still a small community, so the only way we can grow is with your help. So I hope you'll be able to join us next week, and remember, stay true.